Hey there, Saints fans. I'm Jeff Nowak, digital sports producer for NOLA.com. Just wanted to hop on here, do a quick live chat before the action starts tonight. We have Saints and Chargers at the Superdome. No fans, but a lot of football about to happen. Second time this year. We've had to wait till a Monday night to watch the game. It really is kind of amazing that there's only been, one noon start for the Saints. They had a national 325 broadcast in week one. They had Monday in week two. Sunday in week three. The Lions was a noon game, and now back here we are on Monday. So not a traditional way to start a season, but at least we get to watch it on the big boy broadcast. So I'm going to go through a few things. Normally I'd be going through a story right now, but our site is having some difficulties. Hoping that gets back on before the game. But for now, we'll just go through some Twitter. And if you have questions, anything you want to talk about, throw it in the chat. And I will do my best to get to that for you. For now, we could just go through a few things. First things first, no Michael Thomas again. They ruled him out yesterday. At first, the idea was, they're keeping him out. He's not quite healthy yet. He's missed the last 3 games with an ankle injury. This time around, it's not quite that simple. Apparently, at the end of practice, either yesterday or Friday, either yesterday, Saturday, or Friday, I don't know. It's tough to say. Michael Thomas got into a physical altercation with CD Deuce, the artist formerly known as Chauncey Gardner Johnson, and punches were thrown, apparently, and Michael Thomas was being disciplined to keep him out tonight. I don't know if he would have played anyway. That's the question that we can't seem to get answered, but either way, he's not going to be in there, so it's going to be a lot more Traquan Smith, Emmanuel Sanders, a few guys that are going to be there. It looks like Marcus Davenport's going to give it a go. This will be the first time all season he's played, so that's exciting. I want to say Marshawn Lattimore also is going to be in action. So we're gonna. Well, let's see. I don't want to tell you that without it being true. So let me double check. We just posted on the injuries, and obviously, like I said, I can't get onto our website to even read our own story. So that makes things a little difficult. As you can see, Drew Brees warming up there. You got some Taysom Hill action. So I'm gonna look that up and confirm so I can tell you all the truth when it comes to the injury outlook coming forward. But in general, the Saints are actually as healthy as they've been in quite some time. So that's a good thing. Let's see. Last week you went into Detroit without 6 starters. That's just murder. They came out with a win, but that's getting some of those guys back, especially Davenport on the defensive line, which is a group that really needs a boost. That's going to be big for them. Yeah, okay, so the inactives tonight, Michael Thomas, Janoris Jenkins, Deontay Harris. That's going to be interesting to see what they do. I think Marquez Callaway might be getting some punt return action. It'll be interesting to see who they throw back there for kick returns. Justin Hardy also out, another special teams guy. Ethan Greenidge, Adam Troutman. That's a surprise to me. And Malcolm Roach. So a lot of young, good players out. And you got Michael Thomas, Janoris Jenkins at the top. That's a lot. But the guys you're getting back, Andrew Speed, Jared Cook, Marcus Davenport, Marshawn Lattimore, Sheldon Rankins, those are big guys to get back too. So, it'll be interesting to see how they adapt, especially in the return game. I'm very interested to see, and who takes those extra reps. When Michael Thomas went out, Deontay Harris was the main beneficiary beyond Traquan Smith in terms of actually getting snaps. He didn't have more than 12 snaps in a single game last year. He was in the 40 to 50 range the last 3 games. So it'll be interesting to see who that guy is. Is it Marquez Callaway? Is it maybe Benny Fowler? They don't have Adam Troutman, so it's not going to be a lot more 3 tight end looks, which you've seen a bit more of since Michael Thomas has been out. So it'll be interesting to see what they do there. I would guess Marquez Callaway. They've been using him a lot more in the last few weeks. They seem to like him a lot. So I would keep an eye out for him. But obviously, the Chargers have a few guys out too. Tyrod Taylor's out, which means you get a good look at Justin Herbert. Normally, you'd say a rookie coming into the Superdome is asking for trouble, but there's not a lot of noise, so it'll be more of a hospitable experience than the last few rookies that came in. Kyler Murray last year, he did not have a good game. I want to say before that, the most recent rookie was Jared Goff with the Rams in his rookie season, came in and he struggled. So it'll be interesting to see if Justin Herbert gets a little more comfortable without anyone screaming at him. But okay, let's see if we got any good comments. Yep, Davenport is back. Well, it's going to be interesting to see how much he actually plays. But he is in action, and that's a good thing. He's had the hokey pokey of injuries. First, it was an elbow, then it was a toe. It's really strange when you get those injury designations and you don't really get any explanation. What is an elbow injury that keeps you out for 4 weeks that isn't like significant enough to go on IR with, right? Like that's always a bit weird. And then a toe injury, who knows? He could have stubbed it. It could be turf toe. It could be a broken toe. But he's out there today, so he's clearly done enough to get the Saints doctors to sign off on him being out there. So that's a good thing. Now we just have to see how many snaps he does play and if he can generate pressure when he's in there. I think, and if he can be that threat on the opposite side, that'll open up things for Cam Jordan. He's had a slow start, but he got his first sack last week, so hopefully he can build on that. He got to handle his temper. Yeah, a little bit. But at the same time, that's a double-edged sword because you want guys who have an edge. You want guys who are going to go at it hard in practice, and sometimes it gets the better of you. I think what makes Michael Thomas great is also what got him in trouble this week, in that he's not going to back down anybody. He's not going to take crap from anybody. I shouldn't curse on the broadcast, which is why I paused there. And I think that's what you saw. But I think you want guys who are willing to go at each other like that, assuming they're not fighting each other constantly and they can come back and shake hands afterwards, which from all indications has been the case here. I don't think there's going to be any lingering beef between Michael Thomas and the secondary. And a guy like CD Deuce, you want to see him go up and give it to the star wide receiver a little bit. You don't want a defender that's going to back down and, maybe you got a little too eager there, but hey, we'll see. I mean, the CD Deuce is an important player. He's going to be an important player tonight. He's going to be an important player the rest of the season for the Saints. They've run more than 90% of their snaps out of sub packages. What that means is nickel and dime. So your base package is going to be 4 defensive back, 3 linebackers, and 4 linemen. A sub package would be any personnel that you take that linebacker off the field and you either add 1 or 2 defensive backs. So, like I said, nickel and dime, and they're running 90% of their defensive snaps out of those sub packages, which means that CD Deuce is going to be the guy. Him and Malcolm Jenkins, one of these safeties, is going to be asked to make tackles. He's going to come up and cover running backs out of the backfield, and so he's a guy that you want him to have that edge. You just don't want him to be starting fights in practice. So hopefully they get a handle on that a little bit. Who are we playing tonight? The Chargers or the referees? That's always a question. Hopefully it's the Chargers. I will say, the Saints have been penalized a lot, and while the refs make bad calls as part of the game, I think that a lot of those calls have been good calls. I said the Pelicans. It's not the Pelicans. It's the Saints. The Saints have earned a lot of their penalties. And when you foul a lot, you're going to – it has a cascading effect where if you're holding in the secondary all day because you're getting beat, the refs start to look for – the refs study tape too. The refs watch your games and they come in saying, okay, I know this guy likes to hold in the secondary. I'm going to be extra cautious for it. And they build on each other. If you have a reputation of playing good defense and not fouling, then you're going to get the benefit of some calls. And when you're playing defense the way that the Saints have been playing, you're not going to get any favors. You're not going to get any situations where it looks like it's a foul, but the ref's like, it's hand fighting. You're going to get the foul call. And the Saints have been penalized. I think, they haven't played week 5 yet, so it's skewed a little bit. But going into this week, they had more than twice the pass interference yardage penalties called against them than the next highest team. And that's not good. You don't win games that way. The fact that they have won 2 games that way is incredible. Let's see. We're going through here. We have to win because Bucks and Panthers are 3-2. This is an important game. I agree with you, and you're going into that bye week, and you want to go into that bye week on a good note. You don't want to go into the bye week with a losing record because the Bucks and the Panthers. Oh, I almost said Falcons, but the Falcons are on 5. They couldn't win a game if I don't know if they had a 15-point lead in the fourth quarter. But you don't want to go into the bye at 2-3 and then welcome the Panthers in week 7 with them sitting maybe 4-2. You want to keep that standings pressure on a team like the Panthers, who you get to host in 2 weeks, because that game is going to be huge. But going into that game, even in the standings, is also going to be a big thing. And you don't want to be in this division. This is one of the tougher, other than maybe the NFC West, this is probably the toughest division in the NFL. And you do not want to be trying to punch up in this division. You want to be playing on top. And you don't want to go into that second Bucks matchup needing that game for a tiebreaker to try to get yourself even. Obviously, winning that tiebreaker would go, light years in terms of getting the division. But this is a big game tonight. It's the Chargers. It's a rookie quarterback. The Saints should win this game, but who knows? If we lose, I'm jumping out the window. Please don't do that. That's now that you've told me, I feel personally responsible for your well-being. Don't jump out the window. Make it through the bye week. I always have trouble tilting my head because it's reversed. Make it through the bye week, and then we can we can talk. We can get through this. Don't jump out a window. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I have him in fantasy, so it's been tough on my fantasy football season. But in my initial reaction to him being out, before finding out it was punishment related, was I actually agree with them keeping him out tonight. As much as I just kind of went through how important this game is, you saw what happened with Kamara last season, and how in the second half, after trying to play through an ankle injury and hurting his knee, it's impossible to say one was caused by the other, but there's a very clear connection between playing through an injury and injuring something else. And he went into that week 5 game. We're in week 6 game. I'm sorry. He went to that week 6 game against the Jaguars with a tweaked ankle. He came out with a MCL injury that hindered the rest of the season. He played. He just wasn't where you needed him to be. And I think seeing that scenario play out last season, it's really easy to make an argument that it makes a whole lot more sense to keep Michael Thomas out, give him 2 weeks to get back to 100%. He's been limited in practice, right? He may have been at practice the last 2 weeks, but he's been limited, and you're not limited if you're 100%. So if he played tonight, that would be him going in at something less than 100%, maybe 80%, maybe 75%, who knows? But the issue with high ankle sprains is they are incredibly easy to re-aggravate. And if you remember Leonard Fournette's final year at LSU, that's the best thing I can compare it to, in terms of, he kept trying to come back. He kept trying to get through games. He would get through, the first quarter, and he looked great. And then he would get hit the wrong way, and he would miss the rest of the game, and he would miss the next week. And that was his entire final season at LSU, was trying to play through an ankle injury. You don't want, if this is Drew Brees' last season, you don't want the end of the season to be contingent upon, oh man, hopefully Mike can get enough out of that ankle. You want him to be 100%, and hopefully you can get through this game and through the bye week with him coming back against the Panthers in week 7 with no issue whatsoever, no concern about the ankle in terms of re-injuring him. He can obviously get hurt on any play. Anyone can get hurt on any play. But you're making decisions based on, your best judgment and what you need to see. And I think that it's a smart thing, even if it is punishment based, to keep him out. And I think if he heard this, he would hate me, because I guarantee you he wants to play more than any of you want him to play. He's crazy in terms of being a competitor, and missing this many games has to be just driving him nuts. You try to figure out why a guy gets into a fight in practice. It's because it's driving him crazy to not be out there. And that's what you're seeing. Hold on, I need to check it. Thank you. All right, let's try to get a few more. I would try to talk a little bit about Taysom Hill, because I did a good Taysom Hill film study this week, but I can't pull up the story. Actually, let's see if I can get it open. Oh, look, we got it. All right, so I do want to talk a little bit about Taysom Hill. I can answer a few more of your questions. First, I heard someone ask for score predictions. Let's see. I found it. Beats Rock. Okay, he's not ready to jump out a window, but he is ready to ask for score predictions. Put your score predictions in the chat if you're listening. That'll prove to me that I have people paying attention, and I am not just talking to myself on the wall. But I think the Saints win tonight. If I'm making a score prediction, I'm going to go. I think the Saints score. I think Chargers have a good defense, so I don't think they're going to run them off the field. But I think they possess the ball, and I think 28-17 probably. I think the defense gets going. We got 34-17 as a projection, 34-24. Yeah, I think if the Saints get to 30, they should win this game. I think they're going to get to 28, and it's going to be a little tighter. But that's just me guessing. I don't believe Mike Williams is going to try to play. He's been out, he's been hurt, but he is not listed among the inactives. The only big name inactives you have are obviously Tyrod Taylor, who's still recovering from that punctured lung that a doctor gave him, trying to give him an injection. Joe Reed, Jaleel Adai, Trey Turner, Brian Balaga, who's a big piece missing for them along the offensive line. Joe Gaziano, who I'm not familiar with. But let's see. I do want to talk about Taysom Hill. And one thing I see people all the time, and I want to say this right now. The Saints have not been running RPOs with Taysom Hill. The Saints have been running zone reads with Taysom Hill, then pre-snap reads with Taysom Hill. When I see it all the time. Everyone's complaining about they run the RPO too often and people are ready for it. They don't. The funny thing is you're complaining that they aren't running the RPO. The zone read is a run play, and that's what you're seeing. This is a zone read when he fumbles. This is not an RPO. And how can you tell? It's easy. Watch the wide receivers, okay? The difference between an RPO and a zone read is the running back and the quarterback are just deciding who's going to run the ball. But either way, it's getting run. This is a run play. An RPO is a run pass option. So you have to have at least one option to pass the ball to call it an RPO. In this case, it can't throw it because A, no one's running a route, and B, the line is run blocking. So in the NFL, you can't pass the ball when a lineman gets more than 3 yards downfield or you'll get a penalty. So if you watch the line and they're blocking downfield, it's a run play. If the receivers are not running a route, which they aren't, they're getting up to block these guys, it's a run play. And so that's what you're looking at with a lot of these. And you're also, when you're talking about a zone read, it's going to be the edge defender. On an RPO, it'll be the middle. So here you have Taysom trying to read Zadarius Smith, and he can't actually see him because this arc block kind of screwed up the play. I think the timing was off here, and he makes a really bad decision to keep that, and he fumbles it, as we all know. We don't have to go through that a lot more. But the funny thing is they did run at least what appeared to be an RPO against the Lions. And this is what I want them, and this is what I think people are complaining about and what you really want to see more of. So let's get down here. So this looks like an RPO. I don't know if this is actually a designed run or they actually were planning on running an RPO, but that's what this looks like. And you can tell the difference because when Alvin Kamara is coming on a jet, you can actually watch the quarterback's head. If this was a zone read and this was a run play, he would be reading this defender. He's not. You can see one of the things I like about teams with lines on their helmets is you can always tell where they're looking. And in this case, you can see Taysom Hill is looking into the middle of the field. So he's reading this defender here. He's reading that jet action. He's reading this jet defender. And if he follows Kamara across, he's gonna keep. If he stays put on this side, he's gonna hand this off to Kamara, and that's the R. That's the R part of this option. Now, what happens here is what bugs me is that he's not reading this pass option that's going to open up. And this is where I think people are complaining about not having options in the passing game. And I think this is where you need to see some growth. So what you see here is he keeps on this jet read. Josh Hill is coming out of the backfield. He's not blocking. If this was a run to the right, if this was a designed run, you would see Josh Hill block because him leaking out is not going to do anything with 3 defenders here. And so what you should be seeing is Taysom Hill reading this part of the field now. He should be reading these linebackers as his second option and seeing, okay, there's 3 guys stacked up against the run. Everyone's pushed up. This jet defender is following Kamara, and Josh Hill is going to have a free run to the back of the end zone, which he does. Except the read is never made. He tucks the ball, runs into 4 defenders. This guy breaks through the middle. He beats Cesar Ruiz in his block. And this play is dead in the water because the P in the RPO was not run. I have a clip from Josh Allen here on a similar play that I'll show you. This is how you'd want to see that play run. And I'll just let it go. So basically what's happening, you have the same type of route. You have Josh Allen with a running back here. He's not doing the jet, but it's a very similar read. He's reading that middle defender, and then he's pulling it down, putting it in his hand, and reading what these linebackers are doing and hitting this slant. That's what you want to see on that play. That's what you want to see on that action. You know, whether they're just not allowing Taysom, whether it's a designed run and that's not a real read they're having him make, that's a read they should be having him make, because this is the exact play that you could have seen happen against the Lions. You just have to trust your quarterback to make the right decision there, and they haven't been doing that. And that's what I want to see more of out of Taysom Hill. I don't think Taysom Hill has been bad as a lot of people want to give him credit for. And I think you need to remember Taysom Hill does not play quarterback in the regular season. He had 51 quarterback snaps since last preseason. That's what? They played 17 games last year. They've played 4. That's 21 games. He's had about 2 to 3 snaps in any game. The most he had was in the Vikings game. In last preseason, let's see, I wrote it down here. In the last preseason, he had 141 quarterback snaps. That's when you're learning how to do this stuff. That's when you're learning how to make reads. If you learned a language and you you compare learning an offense to learning a language if you're a quarterback. And then just kind of take that a step further and think, okay, if you learned a new language and then you didn't use it more than like once a week for a year, and then all of a sudden someone paid you to be a translator, would you expect to miss a few words in those translations? Yeah, and that's what you're seeing from Taysom Hill so far. He's learning on the fly. He's building the plane as he flies it, is an expression I use way too much. And I think that it's not about what you've seen from Taysom Hill. It's what you hope you will see as the season goes on, as it gets a little bit more comfortable. Remember, they didn't really open him up in the passing game until the end of last season, right? I mean, he had the exact same type of offense built for him, except in this season, you have seen him work in passing sets a lot more frequently. He didn't have a single design pass for him until week 5 of last season. He has had 4 through the first 4 weeks of this season. He hasn't always played them correctly, but they've been designed for him. He had that double pass. He had the same Deontay Harris shot play type against the Bucs, and he had it again against the Packers. Got a lot of criticism for missing Traquan Smith on that. But, you know, as you look at a guy who you expect to get more incorporated more and more as the season goes on, starting there to what you would expect is actually encouraging for a guy who didn't get his allotment of preseason snaps. So let's take a step back on Taysom Hill and just appreciate that a lot of what he does goes unnoticed. But I think over the next few weeks, especially after the bye, I think you're going to see a little more from him in the passing game and the creativity. And I'll leave you all with this, which is one of my favorite plays from Taysom Hill's highlight reel. Is against the Vikings last year. I just kind of stumbled upon this going through some clips, and it really does amaze me how good he is in traffic. You can't, this isn't stuff, like you talk about stuff that he needs to practice, he needs to learn. You can't teach that. That's just, you're good at football. He's a football player. And I think there's going to be a little more Taysom Hill love shown by the end of the season. Lattimore is playing. That's the last question I'll get to. And we got about a half hour before the game starts. Hope y'all are ready. Hope you got your popcorn and your beer and whatnot. And let's see what the Saints do against the Chargers. I appreciate everyone for checking this out. If you want to give me a follow on Twitter, that's at Jeff_Nowak, Nowak. It's on the bottom left of the screen there. And thanks as always for tuning in. Peace.